This is going to be an interesting match. So, Natasha.
Yeah,
That's the card we're looking out for this match.
yeah. Natasha's probably the card we're gonna look out for in every match that Drytron's playing, realistically,
Exactly.
because that card just makes the deck so good. It went from being like a really strong like going first deck to a really strong deck in general because Natasha allows it to go second. So we see the die roll, and let's see who's gonna be starting.
This is going to matter a lot.
Yeah, I think it's really important for the Zoo deck to go first.
Hey, Drytron's the deck that everyone voted for.
Yeah, everyone thinks Drytron's gonna win. Wow. So
Everyone switched up on you.
yeah, I mean, it makes sense when you see a deck and Drytron's going first. Wow, this is starting off with Nova is very promising.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Drytron being ahead right now honestly makes sense because it has the best matchup in Top Cut because I think it has a better Zoo matchup than the Virtual World deck does, even though I do believe the Virtual deck has a pretty decent matchup versus Zoo.
Agreed. I think Drytron is, like I've been saying, the best deck.
Yeah, it just has yet to be like figured out completely. And we see he opened 2 Drytron names, so that's already a good start.
So he's going to get to summon back out Alpha, looks like, and he's going to get to search.
Yeah, so searching for Ben 10, obviously the best card in the deck.
The deck has so many ways to get to that card.
It has so many. It just like infinitely searches the card it's missing, which is really good. It's like the same thing with Virtual World, where like every monster does similar things and then one different thing.
Yeah.
So like you're able to tutor out just the missing piece almost every time. His hand looks really good, except I see an extra copy of Nova inside the Drytron player's hand. And he's searching up the Herald just so he has an extra negation. And we do know that he main decks the Purple Light, so that's definitely very important because that'll come up in this matchup.
For sure.
And we'll have to see if he knows that he's playing against a trap deck. Maybe he adds purple later on in the combo off even after he resolves his Union Carrier.
So he goes for Union Carrier right out instead of using like one of his Drytrons to go into Relinquish and Union Carrier with that and Link Kuriboh. So I wonder why he's doing it this way.
Yeah.
He's equipping Dawn Knight, the Platinum Rare.
Yeah, the Platinum Rare is putting in a lot of work today. Let's see, and then he goes ahead, just summoning out Ben 10 now. And since he has a normal summon, he's most likely just going to search for the Vanity's Ruler and tribute summon the Ben 10. Most likely search for Lancey if it's in his main deck, then go ahead and pass turn.
For sure. He's going to get the Sun the Gamma there.
Or if he has a way into the Herald of Ultimateness, like we were talking about earlier, that would be really strong.
Yeah, summoning both is insane.
Yeah, it makes it so you have a negate protecting Vanity's Emptiness, and we all know Vanity's Emptiness is banned for a reason.
Yeah. He's going to get Ben 10 search.
Yeah, you resolve Ben 10 at least 2 to 3 times a turn with this deck. It's so stupid.
They said Drytron should run one Hungry Burger.
They could probably summon it too. Yeah. You can just play like any ritual support with the Drytron cards, honestly, besides the incantations. You can basically tutor the Drytron deck to just be whichever ritual deck you want it to be.
Yeah, and there's so much support for ritual stuff. It's insane.
Yeah, I think they get so much support because it takes a lot of cards to ritual summon, for the most part. There is a lot of free ritual decks, like Necroz is really good at managing their resources when they summon. Same thing as the Drytron deck, but a lot of decks they have to commit 2 to 3 cards to ritual summon 1.
Yeah, it's really cool whenever we get to see a ritual deck come back, because it's not often that we get to see like a good one.
Yeah, it's the same thing in my opinion with like fusion decks, because fusion decks aren't as popular either, where we can just randomly get, like, we got the Thunder Dragon deck to be pretty cool for a while, and then like the Prankins deck does fusion summon a little bit, different things like that. Shadal's, fusion summoning is supposed to be inherently a neg 2, but these decks make it like +3s.
Brings out the Vanity's Ruler, and he's going to get that Ben 10 search.
Yeah, and then he has Link Kuriboh to protect himself if in case he goes like normal summon something, then activate Skill Drain.
Adds Eva, and the opponent has to read it, so just making sure when it does.
So this Eva's probably going to most likely win in the game because he has the Herald plus Eva to get him either a follow-up Herald of Orange Light or Herald of Purple Light, depending on what he needs or what he thinks he needs for the situation.
Oh, I just grab both.
Yeah, you could just get both if you have enough fairies in your hand to discard.
He's going to use Prep here.
Yeah, Prep is so good, and it's giving you the +1 by getting you the Ben 10 back into your hand. Prep is so strong. And the fact that you only need to run one field spell in this deck is really good. Or not one field
Ritual
spell, one
spell.
ritual spell, because you just endlessly loop it. And it looks like the Drytron player is going to pass with like 6 cards in hand, so he basically committed nothing into the board, and his opponent's just facing down Vanity's Ruler. Lord
Yeah.
would be really good here, 100%, but that's what the Herald of Orange Light's for.
Yep. The opponent needs a lot of cards to out this Vanity's Ruler. And the good thing about Vanity's Ruler is it's not your whole board. Like, if this gets outed, you have Orange Light, Purple Light. You have so many follow-ups. Natasha next turn is going to be insane.
Yeah, so he's forced to search for the Lord right here, and then this just gets Orange Light in it. That's pretty much a wrap at that point.
Yeah.
Like, the Eldlich spells and traps don't really do anything.
Oh, he's not even going to force it out. So this is smart. If he does have, like, a punishment that he could use on the Vanities, he could just out it that way. Since there's going to be no Purple Light in hand, he didn't get to search for it.
Yeah, not yet at least. That's going to be really important. He might be playing Strike. We saw that last game. That was kind of important for him having Strike, so he just might be waiting to strike the Orange Light.
Yeah, for sure.
But at that point, I feel like if he's just giving his opponent another turn, he has enough Drytron effects plus Ben 10 to just apply enough pressure. Because he can just link climb here into a Phoenix and then a Unicorn tip, both back row, and then Access Code Talker, like we've seen happen.
Yeah, he doesn't have to be afraid of Nib here.
Yeah, Vanities is crazy.
Yeah.
One-sided even then.
Said, what's key versus Drytron or against Drytron? Knowing what they do and how they interact. I
Yeah.
think that's a really big thing.
I think not knowing, like, the deck doesn't have a certain point you have to stop them every time. It's just trying to see which cards they've used first and analyzing what line of plays they're going for. Union Carrier is probably a good interruption point, but sometimes by the time they're that far, it just won't matter. Ghost Spell is really good if they don't have the field spell face up, so you can stop the ritual spell.
Yeah, it's almost different every game. Like, there's some things that you just want to hit. Like he was saying, Union Carrier, that's a pretty good one. But every game it can really change.
Yeah, the
It really
deck doesn't
depends.
have just one line of play that it's going to go to where you can always hand trap and be like, this is going to be enough. So right here, like a Phoenix into a Unicorn is huge. And we see that he's searching Lancia, so he's making sure he's just going to be able to stop the follow-up. And this is the first time we get to see this deck going first as well.
Yeah, and he has Natasha in hand already.
Yeah, his hand's huge. I think he has 7, 8 cards in hand, something like that.
See, someone in chat said Drytron's fold the Droll. They can play a lot of cards to out it. A lot of people aren't right now, but there's 7 cards that you can open when you're going first, game 2 and 3 to beat Droll. So that card, while it is very good, they're countering it.
Yeah, 100%. And if you know that you lose to Droll, then you're just going to be playing the counters in your side deck if you're not already maining them already. Yeah.
Exactly.
And we see Homero's going to scoop it up once he brings out the Herald Link. That card's also dumb, like we've talked about before. Being able to give you a follow-up plus a negation is really strong.
Yeah, and if it gets beat over, just gets the
Exactly.
Ben 10.
It
It's
not
crazy.
only gives you 1, it gives you back 2 cards.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the side deck I think is going to be really important. Romero didn't really get to do much that game. Clearly, Vanities is still a strong card. I'm hoping the strikes are probably going to be really good in this matchup because striking the effects is one of the few ways where you can stop them the most. I think Warning would probably be like the best card in this matchup because you can just Warning the Ritual Spell or you can Warning the normal summon of the Vanities, which Warning's at 3, so who knows if he's playing that. That's a cool card. He's probably going to have to take out the Ice Dragon's Prisons as well. We'll see what hand traps he's playing because we know he has Ghost Spell on his deck, which is good. We've talked about it. Maybe he's playing Crow or Skullmeister, things of those sorts to just help him more in this matchup.
Everyone's saying that he could side different Dimension Ground or D Barrier.
Yeah, those cards are definitely super strong in the matchup.
It's very hard for him to actually activate different Dimension Ground than OTK. It's hard for Zoo Eldlich to put up 8,000 damage. They can't really put up 8,000 damage in one turn.
It's hard for a lot of decks to go ahead and put up 8,000 damage, especially like playing around cards like Nibiru or TT like we were talking about. It's just you can't comfortably go into the battle phase anymore, like put all your resources onto the table because if you lose like more than like 2 or 3 of your resources in one swing, like you can just fall so far behind.
Yeah, like if you lose everything to a Nib and they're on Eldlich, they're going to out-resource you.
Yeah, 100%. Or like to a Torrential, different things like that.
Said what's 7 cards? 3 Aqua Dolphin, Called By, and 3 Orange Light.
Yeah, Dolphin's pretty cool because it also lets you just see their whole hand.
Exactly. Knowing what end board you need to go for is crazy. And you can also hit other hand traps. You don't have to go just for Droll. And discarding Drytrons is very free.
And like just knowledge in general, like we've seen the past couple formats, is just so important. Like Smoke Grenade being banned, like that was huge for this format. Like I don't, if Smoke Grenade wasn't banned, this format would be completely different.
Infernoble would still be heavily played.
Yeah,
Even
so-
though it's only 1 week into the format, more people would have tried the deck out.
Yeah, because it's like just knowledge, being able to know what to negate, different things like that are really important. Yeah, unfortunately, Melvin did already lose. He wasn't able to make it to top 8. He did make it to the top 16 though. Looks like they're finishing up their side deck right now, getting some shuffles in, and we'll be ready for game 2 now.
Someone in chat said Mask of Restrict equals no ritual summoning. Mask of Restrict is good versus this deck, but it's another thing. It's a trap card. You usually want to stop Drytron when they go first. That's when it's harder to stop them.
Yeah. And we see a normal summon of a zoo, so that's at least a decent start, so you get access to Dryden immediately. And then he's most likely going to play around the nib, no reason not to.
Yeah.
Just 4 summons.
Playing around YuGiOh doesn't matter too much here, but you may as well do it.
Yeah, this is the deck you have to play around YuGiOh for. This is the
Yeah.
deck that's 100% going to have it in its extra deck.
It's going to start off with a Nova.
Nova's really good. We see, I think he has Red Reboot in his hand again.
Oh.
Wow, if he has Reboot in his
Oh.
hand again, that just could end the game right here, because Dryden's not very good versus the Drytron effects. Wow, Red Reboot could just seal the deal.
Yeah, for sure. 1 Dryden's not going to be enough.
No, not at all.
I wonder if his hand's awkward because of how long he's thinking.
Yeah.
But he could also use that argument for his hand being that good, which it probably is.
Yeah, if he's not getting out one of the main names, what is he getting out right there? Is that Delta?
That's a ritual spell grabber, I'm fairly certain. It's kind of got some glare on
Yeah,
it.
he does have Red Reboot in his hand. He has Red Reboot, Herald of Orange Light, and he has Ash in his hand. So we just can't see the last 2 cards. So depending on what those last 2 cards are, the game just ends right here, I think.
A way to Ben 10.
A way to Ben 10 or a way to Natasha to start just taking the Dryden.
He has Orange Light.
Oh, I think Ben 10's in his
Yep.
hand. Oh, this might just be the game. Cycle Reader, Chain Herald, Chain Strike,
Oh,
Chain Crazy.
does
So
he have the response?
no, we know one of them's Ice Dragon's Prison.
Oh,
Wow,
my gosh.
This is insane.
That was so nice. Had the orange for the Cycle Reader.
Wow. So his opponent, like, all his cards are known, so he only has a Dryden interruption. If the Drytron player could just play through the Dryden right now, the game ends. Like, you can clear all the back row. There's no, like, access code's going to clear all of them. And he's at 6,500, so, like, access code plus any monster at this point really cleans up.
And we know that 2 of the sets are Strike and 1's Ice Dragon's Prison. So if he still just ends on Vanities, that's 3 dead cards.
Yeah, like, there's a lot of things he can do to just outright win the game right here. Wow, that Herald of Orange Light was crazy because it went ahead and forced the hand trap and the strike so he could go ahead and reboot everything.
Oh, he's actually not setting Strike from deck. He's still in deck looking at it. It looked like he was going to go for Strike.
Yeah, I mean, at this position, you're trying to think of, like, what card can keep you in the game. There's not a lot. Like,
Yeah, just set Strike. I don't know if that's what I would go for.
I don't think it's the best card, but if you don't play cards like Punishment or Imperm, it might just be the only good card to go to at this point.
I assume that there's a Scarlet set in the middle then, or under Dryden, since he didn't try setting an Eldlich card.
Yeah, that is also true. He could have 100% set an Eldritch card. He searches Manju, so he's not going to be going for the Vanity's Ruler play.
Which is completely okay if he's just trying to end the game.
Yeah, if he's going to go for an OTK right now, then it clearly just does not matter if he normal summons or not. And he also has an Ash to, like, stop a follow-up, which is pretty big.
Yeah, he's going to go normal summon the Manju and use that card's effect. Said Ice Dragon's Prison actually sucks versus Drytron. Yeah, it's not very good versus them. There's not a lot of good times to use it.
So he's holding his Drytron. I wonder how long he's gonna hold it for. Probably like for a Union Carrier play, and the fact that it has Thoroughblade under it's coming up right now because if it was Whiptail or Ram Ram or even Bunny Blast, this Monju could just swing at it and then
Yeah.
just clear the whole board. So
So seeing Psycho Reader actually from the Zoo Eldlich player, we didn't really talk about that, but that card was very good versus Drytron. So if they use like Alpha Effect Engrave, getting rid of Ben 10, and you just hit Ben 10 and Alpha, they're not going to get Alpha Search, R Summon, and they're not going to get Ben 10 Search.
yeah, it's really strong. So Psycho Reader giving you that 2-for-1. So that's one of the few hand traps that can actually interact really well with the Drytron deck. But at some points, it's just not enough, depending on how much advantage they've accrued. But Kevin looks like he's all in on this play right now. And if he's not able to, I think, end the game, it might just be detrimental for him because there's a lot of back row back there.
Yeah. He does know 2 strikes. I don't know if he saw the Ice Dragon's Prison or not.
Yeah, it was slipped very quickly. And he does have Ash as another defensive card.
He's going to bring out Ben 10 from Graveyard.
Did he tribute a machine from the field? Or from his hand?
I couldn't see what he got rid of from hand.
Yeah, just to make sure he used the right materials for it.
He's going to
Oh.
chain Cosmic.
Okay, so that's not bad. I mean, it does leave the Zoo player at 5,500, so like it's a lot easier for him to get game. But all the cards are known now, so there's an Ice Dragon's Prison set closest to at least your guys' view, all the way to the bottom, and then there's 2 strikes on the other side with the Trident.
The Cosmic was actually pretty nice there.
Yeah, it prevents him from ritual summoning just multiple times. Now that ritual spell's out of the deck.
It's interesting that he didn't set an Eldlich card off Red Reboot, since there's a very good chance that Access Coach is going to come down and wipe everything.
Yeah, this Trident still has to be forced, though. He might have to go into battle phase first and swing with the Ben 10. And then he could probably go Phoenix, pop a card, draw a card, then maybe Unicorn.
They said that he shotgun Red Reboot without even thinking if he can capitalize. I think that if Psycho Reader resolved there, that it would have been very bad for him.
Yeah, I think he had to Herald, and then when he got strike there, it was just you auto have to negate that because he didn't look like he had any other Drytron names to play with at that point.
Yeah, we couldn't see the rest of the hand, but it didn't look like he had much else than what Psycho Reader
Yeah,
was targeting.
if he has the Geonome or the Geo transfer right now on the Dryden, would be kind of crazy.
Yeah,
Like if he was able to take control of that Dryden, it would change the game.
for sure.
So like, see, this is one of those instances where like playing correctly can definitely punish you.
He said gem transfer on that Dryden about to be lit. Yeah. You're supposed to play around that card as much as possible. You want to play around everything. You don't want to lose to something when you're not supposed to. But it doesn't look like he's going to be going for a YuGiOh here.
Yeah, he's looking like he has to go for a Phoenix to like get rid of the background. He hasn't even added the Dryden yet either, which is still a problem because next turn it can turn into Zeus.
I think that Kevin didn't really even think about the YuGiOh play. I think he would have set up his zones differently.
Yeah, he might not even have it in his extra deck, honestly.
No, he does. I seen it.
Oh, you've seen it? So
100%.
he's just there it is. He's looked at it real quickly. He's maybe just doesn't know that he could have played around it differently since he did put the Dryden in the middle zone.
Yeah, a lot of people, while they don't know how to play around YuGiOh, they also don't know how to use the YuGiOh correctly.
Yeah, so now he has to Phoenix and like hoped to draw a good card. Honestly, I don't really know what he can draw at this point because he's already used Nova, so like he doesn't have a good like extender, and he only has one card with no live Drytrons in the graveyard.
Well, you can just go for Unicorn out Dryden, and then there's Strike Ice Dragon's Prison.
Yeah, the Ice Dragon's Prison is going to be nice because it's going to be able to clear the Phoenix and the Unicorn. But you still put your opponent on top decking a card. I think you might have to just do it that way and be like, we're going to go into a simplified game state. Next turn, if I draw Ben 10, I win.
Yeah, you can't leave him with Dryden on board, or
No.
there's going to be a head. I wish he set up his zones for YuGiOh, then stole back his monster with Natasha. Imagine.
Yeah, and he drew Foolish. That was a really good draw as well. I think it might have been better if he went Foolish for Eva, search 2 cards, so that way he was able to get a follow-up and discard a card for the Unicorn. Oh, wow.
Oh.
Top deck the Eldlich. And if he had set Scarlet with that, that would have been crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. So, this is a really big Eldlich, so this is a really big turn on both ends.
It really depends what the Drytron player is still playing, because again, if he's playing the Petite Angel Then he can search that off Evo, and his Foolish Burial becomes Ben 10, which
Yeah,
is
but
insane.
unfortunately, he had to pitch the Foolish Burial for the Unicorn.
Oh, yeah.
So, remember, all the cards are known, like,
So he just has nothing. He's
Yeah.
on top deck.
They were both on top deck. So, see
But
now,
the strike, like, he has
Yeah.
strike for his top deck, and he has Ice Dragon's Prison for Unicorns, so he's just far ahead here.
but he also has to kind of save the strike for the top deck if he wants to go Drytron, send, like, Benten or something like that. Because you can't Ice Dragon's Prison that one either, so it just really depends.
Oh, the Platinum Rare Dawn Knight.
Coming into action again. Wow,
It's actually not a bad draw.
making an access code here actually puts in a lot of work because you're going to force out the strike, and then your Dawn Knight's going to trigger to send the Eva, which is, I think,
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yep, he's just going to go Link
Yeah.
Summon. That's pretty solid. Just bringing out Access Code Talker. And he's going to do Access Code Channeling 2. So that way his opponent can't respond. He said this guy dropped the turn. He could have gone with YuGiOh in the access code. I don't know if he had a way to do that after he only had 3 monsters on board, because YuGiOh doesn't take monster, it switches your monster with theirs, so it's not going to give you an extra body.
Yeah,
for
we
access
see him
code.
use strike now too. So he's burned 4K of his life already, just like negating cards or using Cosmic.
Yeah, the access code, like he knew there was strike, so he knew he was going to get hit with strike
Yeah.
for sure.
But I think you had to make that play just to force the strike anyway.
Yeah, you have to force it eventually. I think being able to trade, honestly, the Dawn Knight draw with a strike
Is
was
really
really
good.
strong.
Yeah. But the thing is, I think if the Zoo player gets to a follow-up turn, he might just have enough to capitalize.
I mean, he can use Golden Land, end phase, turn it into Link Spider, next turn search for YuGiOh, and then he has Lord YuGiOh for Kevin's follow-up, and that's just game.
Yeah, because Kevin only has 1 Drytron in the graveyard right now, which is really important because he's not going to be able to grind as well.
He is getting the Dawn Knight effect.
Yeah, the
to
Dawn
send-
Knight sent his Eva, I'm pretty sure.
And then, yep, he's just banishing fairies for the Eva. They said he loses to YuGiOh now. Yeah, it can. There's definitely a chance.
Yeah, and he's searching purple. I guess it was kind of a misplay to not flip the purple on the search. Or not the purple, the Conquistador on the search. But I guess it doesn't matter because if you go Conquistador and he negates it, he's like down cards, and the next turn you're just able to use it.
Well, actually, if he negates it, you kind of want that, because then you don't have to put a Link Spider up next turn.
The Link Spider has attack points though, and
Yeah, but he's under curse, so he's not going to be able to attack with it.
that's
He'd have
also
to
true.
poke
Yeah,
for 500.
I mean
and
drawing
make
a
it-
Zoo monster here would be crazy.
Oh, yeah. Drawing a zoo would be very nice. So, what's the top 4 looking like besides these two? There's Virtual World, and then there's Dino for the other matchup, right? Or
No, it's another Zoo Eldlich matchup
sorry,
on the
yeah,
other side.
it's
Yeah.
another Zoo Eldlich.
So we have 2 Zodiac Eldlich, and then we have 1 Drytron and 1 Virtual World. That's what we got left.
pretty diverse top 4. Honestly, wouldn't have expected it to become this much zoo in top 4.
Yeah. So we see he top decked a Haquero, and he's gonna. So I don't know if I agree with this play. He's trying to just clear a lot of cards. He might be going for game if he can just find a way to make an access code talker, because he just goes activate the what's it called, the
Ice Dragon.
Ice Dragon's Prison.
He's gonna Orange Light negate Lord effect. So Drytron is at massive advantage in time game 3 because of Natasha. Yep,
Yeah.
that card lets you gain life points. The card's insane.
Yeah, and the Drytron deck is once again back on top decking mode. Oh, top deck?
Draws prep.
I think he's
Yeah.
going to concede because the ritual spell is banished. So the prep was not doing anything there. In any other position, that would have been actually pretty decent.
I wonder what he had in grave.
In his graveyard, he only had 1 Drytron. I'm pretty sure he
This is
had
the ritual-
access to... The ritual spell was banished already.
I meant
because
like
of Cosmic.
the Drytron in grave was the one that added the ritual spell.
Yeah.
And then he could have added like Ben 10, but I don't think that's doing too much.
No, he gets 1 play in, but he doesn't do anything else besides that.
Yeah, probably just admitting defeat.
Yeah.
Or Honestly, I think you stay in that just to try to take up as much time as possible, just because of how good your deck is. Game
Yeah,
3 in
if you're
time.
thinking about game 3 and every possible win condition, 100%. But I think you have such a favorable matchup, they might as well just concede and go into game 3 anyways, because at most points in the match, you're going to be ahead versus the Zoo deck anyway, I think.
Yeah, so like not admitting defeat makes it so that way if he gets like hand trapped or bricks, he can still have another turn.
Exactly.
But if he doesn't brick going first, and he would have taken more time, then Natasha getting life points, GG.
Yeah, 100%. Natasha effect is crazy, whether it be in time or just in regular tournament play.
And it's actually crazy because if you go for like the Natasha play when time comes and they like nib or gamma you, you're like cool Natasha take,
Yeah.
and then you just summon Appaloosa. Well, it's not Appaloosa isn't really that good versus this deck, but free body go for IP. IP is
Yeah,
good versus Zoo.
IP is a good card in the Drytron deck. Like that's the good thing about it. Can just tailor its end field towards a specific matchup. IP is really good. Appaloosa is really good versus the virtual deck if they don't
Oh,
open
yeah.
the Quinglong.
Mm-hmm.
So you can just tailor your ending board. That's another thing that Austin was saying about Dolphin, where that lets you just choose which way you're gonna end.
Said Cosmic Cyclone was actually so key. Yeah, for sure. And zone placement. Zone placement meant a lot
Yeah,
in that matchup.
we saw that the zones really mattered, where one of the players could have gotten extremely punished if his opponent just summoned his monsters in the right zone.
Yeah, and he could have avoided almost
Yeah.
being punished by summoning his monsters in the right
Exactly.
zone.
And then we see that they're finishing up getting shuffled up, and game 3 looks like it's about to start with Drytron going first. It's going to be interesting seeing if there's going to be enough hand traps to be able to stop this deck.
Ooh, he has Ben 10 emergency, two
Double
orange
Herald.
light. I think that could be double emergency. I'm not sure.
He had a spell card. He had Ben 10 double orange light. So his hand's going to be playing through a decent amount of hand traps at least.
Yeah, the opponent needs something nice here, for sure. Like a cycle reader.
Yeah, sorry about that little delay, guys. We wanted to go ahead and make sure you guys were watching the match. They went ahead and got started a little bit before us, and that's okay. So the only thing that was activated was, like Austin was saying, the Cyber Emergency, which I still can't get over is so good in this deck, and it can just summon out Cyber Altanin post-board, which is also really strong.
We see Ninja say, isn't the only safe zone the one near the deck?
Yes. That is the only safe zone. So it's actually the opposite of Orcus format, where you had to summon all the way on the other side to play around Long Grisu and Galatea.
Yeah. Someone told me the other day, they're like, someone's going to play Orcus and punish you.
Yeah, 100%.
I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, if Harpor came back to one, I'd believe that a little more.
Oh, yeah. Then I wouldn't be playing around YuGiOh.
Yeah, you definitely play around Long Grisu. That card's crazy.
Yeah, if he geoed and played Zeus in the extra, it was so much in his favor. Yeah, being able to take Dryden and then put like Zeus over, it's nice.
Yeah, 100%.
Said, yeah, near the deck is where I've been placing them. That's good.
That's where you should be placing your cards for the most part. At least the monsters you don't want to get rid of. Like, it's also, if you don't put your Dragoon there, it just gets outed by Geo.
Last game, we could have also seen when he had the level 1 Ben 10 search Eva and then like overlay for Assemble. That would have just been game. But we're in game 3 now, and we're seeing Drytron combo. He's going to normal summon out the Maju.
So the Manju's telling us that he's not going for the Vanity's ruler plate, which is very interesting because it definitely won him the game 1.
We also saw game 1 that he's on Herald of Perfection, level 6.
Yeah, so it's going to be really interesting how he decides to combo. Obviously, he's going into his Union Carrier play, bringing out the best rarity, the Platinum Gold Dawn Knight.
Yes, sir.
So let's see how he ends. I don't think he's gone uninterrupted yet.
If he goes uninterrupted, he's just going to set up Herald with a whole bunch of negates. But
Yeah.
he's not on Herald of Ultimateness, which is huge in this matchup. This is the reason why you want to be playing the Ultimateness. The opponent could just normal summon a Zoo, and you can't stop that.
Yeah, the Ultimateness being able to negate summons is really important.
He just equipped Dawn Knight, and then past turn it looked like.
Did he pass? So he has double Ben 10 in his hand. What else did he have? He has triple Ben 10, I think. Double orange and another Cyber Emergency. Yeah, that's what it looks like the Drytron player's hand is. So his hand was not too great, unfortunately. So Zoo's going to have to capitalize. He's going to have one real turn to just take control of the match.
So the Zoo player really needs to draw good here.
Yeah, he's thinking about his play a lot. He knows that this is the turn that's going to decide the duel.
He needs to capitalize as much as
Yeah,
possible.
so he has a Zoo monster, which is a start.
That's very good. Does he play around Orange Light, though?
We'll see.
Summons out the Tiger Mortar. Said, DB Grinder, if you played in this tournament today, what would you register? Drytron. 100%. If I had access to the cards and I was playing, yeah. You're going to see Borbo attack directly.
You see something that I don't think most people realize is when you have Whiptail under the Borbo, it still activates to banish a card. So, like, you can just get heralded right there and not be able to summon Zeus. I've seen that come up a lot on DB recently. You're just going to go ahead and give this Zeus infinite materials.
Yeah, there's definitely not Nib in your opponent's deck right now.
Yeah. And this Zeus is doing a lot of work right now, but at the same time, the Union carrier is just going to be able to give him more advantage the following turn.
I like how that Zeus is just like falling over into the next zone.
Yeah, he's like, look how many materials I have.
He said, did he not grab Zeta? Oh no. Yeah, he messed up his first turn combo. If he didn't grab Alpha and grab Zeta instead, he just had full combo.
Yeah, unfortunately. Looks like he drew Nova for turn. That's really big.
Yeah. Oh, he's about to use it in the middle zone. Hopefully he doesn't get hit with like an Imperm here.
Imperm here would be crazy. It's one of those small things like we talked about. Just playing around it constantly will get you to win even when like it's not there.
Yeah. It'll get you used to playing around it.
So like when it does come up, you'll never play into it.
He had Zeta there. And then gets rid of Ben 10 for Zeta. That's crazy.
A strike here would be really good.
Yeah. The opponent just doesn't have it. Does have a Zeus with 6 materials, though.
Yeah, but Kevin having the Herald of Orange Light in his hand is really big because he's going to be able to stop 2 of the Zeus effects if he wants to, since he has 2 of them in his hand. But it's going to cost him a lot of resources.
Also, the Zeus not being in the extra monster zone could come up. So he definitely has to take that in consideration.
And there we go. They're reading the best card in the deck, Natasha. This card might go ahead and just steal the match.
Yeah. That card is huge.
It not being once per turn is the best part about that card.
Oh, yeah. I definitely think when they made that card, they didn't think Cyber Angels were going to be able to turbo it out.
I didn't think they thought any deck was going to be able to turbo that card out.
Oh, yeah, definitely not.
Yeah, that's one card that's either going to have to be looked at on the ban list or Drytron's going to have to get hit pretty soon.
Yeah, I think like that's why a lot of people are saying like Ben 10 getting hit. It's a consistency card and it helps with Natasha. But
yeah,
we won't
but
see
it doesn't,
that for a while.
Yeah, and it also doesn't stop any of the new cards from getting hit, which we know Konami doesn't like to hit the newer cards, especially off rip.
Yeah, for sure. The deck just came out.
Yeah, so we see that Homero's taking a long time to go ahead and read the cards just to make sure he knows exactly what's going on. You are in top 4 of the tournament, so you don't want to be making any misplays.
They said, how come the life points isn't shown? We would have to have someone constantly updating it.
Yeah, and we don't always have someone next to the match paying 100% attention, and we're not listening to their voices. So there could be some times where they're talking about life points or different things like that and have just communication that we're not fully aware of, so we won't be able to keep track of life points the whole time.
Yeah, or like optional effects like the virtual world city to gang attack. We wouldn't know if he actually used that effect or not. Most people just forget about that.
Yeah, exactly. There's just small little things like that.
He's going to go into Unicorn here. That's pretty solid.
Yeah, this is really good. He's going to also be able to chain block the Unicorn with the Dawn Knight, or the Dawn Knight with the Unicorn, whichever way he wants to do it.
Yeah. The Dawn Knight's going to be huge. Getting him just another name. He's going to get Eva effect too. Holy.
Looks like his opponent has 2 Whiptails in his hand, if I'm looking at this correctly.
That's not good.
That is definitely not good. Those are 2 cards that cannot be played this turn.
He said, Zoo player is playing slow. That would not be favorable for him to be playing slow right now. Oh, he just passed turn, I think. How did he draw one?
I don't think he drew.
I swear he drew Skullmeister.
Oh, that would definitely be an issue. But I don't think he drew a card.
Yeah,
I think.
I don't know. It kind of looked like he did, but I
Yeah.
could be wrong. He could have also tried using Skullmeister and realized it was chain blocked and put it back in hand.
Yeah, that might have been what happened.
Yeah, that would make more sense.
So yeah, this unicorn got a lot of value. Not only did it like clear the strike that we now know is a strike set, but his opponent didn't clear the body. So like if he has any way to put another monster on the field, which we know, he can just go into access code and force just another card.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that Unicorn didn't get hit with Strike to negate the summon, because it could have just been used on Zeus and that would have been huge.
Yeah, exactly. And he was probably thinking, oh, I can just strike the unicorn's effect. See, here he's going and striking the summon. So I guess they didn't verbally clarify what was going on. And this is like one of the things we were talking about where we're not sitting there next to the players knowing exactly what's going on.
Exactly. We don't know what their exact wording was.
Yeah, so they could be just like, oh, on summon, thinking on summon. There's a difference between has the summon successfully resolved and I'm thinking once you're activating your chain, or there's a difference between I'm thinking if the summon's successful. And that's something you definitely have to communicate with your opponent. Like we see here, he's Skullmeistering Kevin as well, so he doesn't get the effect. And now he's just going to go ahead and chain Herald of Orange Light.
This was a very interesting chain link.
Yeah, so there was a lot of things going on here. I think adding Purple Light here would be very nice.
Yeah. Just like Purple Light to be able to stop a trap is pretty huge.
Yeah, 100%. But the Zoo player was basically able to go first while going second, which definitely benefited him.
They said, did he just target the set instead of Zeus with the Unicorn? The Unicorn summon was negated.
Yeah, the Unicorn summon was striked, and then he was able to formulate his chain link like he would like, and then he got Skullmeister, and then Kevin responded with the Herald of Orange Light.
So we're seeing him activate the Nova here. That's Delta. Happy we didn't see any beta today. That's good. He has Natasha Engrave. He has to ritual summon it first before he can use the effect.
Yeah, so that's something that came up in his last match, actually, so he's definitely going to be aware of that now.
Oh, for sure. They said this Drytron player is making very questionable plays. Yeah, I would agree with that. But as long as he still gets the dub in the end, it doesn't matter for him.
Yeah, and I also think it does have to do with the fact that the deck still is in its early stages, in its infancy, and once again, the deck it came out yesterday, so you don't know all the plays.
We are also on the feature match, and it's top 4.
Oh, and he just...
Purple Light the Scarlet, and he's going to chain Zeus.
Yeah, so Kevin is just out of cards now. Wow, he threw his whole hand into this turn. I don't think he sequenced his cards correctly.
Yeah, I agree. I think he could have done things differently.
Yeah, I think things could have definitely been done differently. Now he's passing turn to the Eldlich Zoo player, and he's swinging for 3K and has a Zeus with 2 interruptions on it still.
And he's going to be able to Scarlet.
Oh, and another Zoo monster, so he gets to make Drytron. Wow. This is really big.
Or wasn't he would have to go like Chalk Nut, I think, because I think he went for Drytron last turn and put it under Zeus.
Oh, maybe. Even then, he's just going to have more bodies on the field, like, just be able to play.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be afraid of Nib here, of course.
Yeah, and then he's going to be able to put another Zeus on the field.
I think equipping Thoroughblade the Drytron there was wrong, because it's not going to have any attack this turn.
Yeah, I think you attack first and then use the effect of Tiger Mortar. And I think the Drytron should have been summoned in defense position either way, considering you're going into time.
100%.
So you don't want them to swing at a 0-attack monster once you use the Drytron's effect. Oh, and he should have made Vespinato probably over the Tiger Mortar if he wanted to do more damage.
Yeah, there's a couple of things that he could have done.
Yeah, if he wanted to do more damage, he could have just summoned out the Thoroughblade, rightfully so, and then summoned out Vespinato, and that would have been 25. He would have been very close to game, actually. He would have been 900 short.
And he could have also detached the Bunny Blast last turn instead and got more damage that way.
And he also could have used that to get a follow-up as well.
Yeah.
We saw he set Conquistador and...
That's just because he doesn't know the matchup.
Yeah, so he definitely should have been setting the Haquera. The Haquera would have been really nice.
And he drew Ash for turn.
And it looks like he's admitting defeat. The Zoo player did win. So we're seeing Zoo in the finals once again.
Whoa.
Yeah. Oh,
Crazy.
yeah. What a crazy matchup, because we honestly thought I thought the Drytron deck was gonna win this matchup.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So Omero showed us that he doesn't have to know his opponent's deck when he knows his own deck very well.
Yeah. We also did see him side in Cycle Reader.
Yeah, the Cycle Reader was a very good card. Game 2, that got him pretty far.
They said Drytron player just lost a match for overextending. Yep, that'll for sure happen.
Yeah, so that's like we were talking about, how playing into trap cards or different things like that is just something that'll lose you the game off the bat. And it's just really important to know how to play around these cards and manage your resources for the follow-up. Like, he didn't give himself a lot of follow-up.
Yeah.
Any of those games, unfortunately, so he wasn't able to capitalize on what the deck's best on, is at grinding and just making your opponent run out of resources.